Welcome back to my Girls at Worth Investigations Fandub Part 1000. I don't know if I will stay awake for this part because I do not know my own physical limits, as the last stream proved, because I fell asleep while streaming the Turnabout Reminiscence case. I don't know whether I'll be able to finish part 2 of this case, but I will try to, because I like voice acting, even if I'm not that good at life. Or a voice acting good. Dude, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna send it. Let's just go. I'm not gonna look at the chat, because that's bad for my eyes. Everything I do is bad for my eyes. Looking at the smoothie station and looking at the little info cards on how to make the smoothies is bad for my eyes. Looking at the computer is bad for my eyes. Looking at the road is bad for my eyes. I don't know how to stop doing things that are bad for my eyes, apart from just looking at the sun, which is obviously bad for your eyes. My entire body hurts, but fuck it. Let's just go. Ace Attorney Investigations. More like Ace Attorney Ace Attorney. Sir, what is to become of the trial into the Grobian Embassy staff member's murder?
Indeed, since both the suspect and the prosecutor are now dead, the case will be dismissed. In other words, the trial ends here prematurely.
Huh, looks like you'll have to wait just a bit longer for your big debut. I suppose it can't be helped.
The evidence for this trial will be transferred to you in a little while.
Sir, what do you think about the murder of the Grobian Embassy staff member? And the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell?
What an outrageous circus it all has become. That Faraday brought it all upon himself with his malfate.
An outrageous circus? Right, sir.
I grow weary of this topic. Edward, I will have you assigned to a different case.
Papa, you'll come and watch my courtroom debut next, won't you?
I'll consider it.
Sir, if I may, please allow me to continue with my investigation.
Whatever for.
I know that there is already a suspect in the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. However, there is not enough evidence to prove that it was he who committed the crime. I'd like to continue investigating in order to find the perfect proof of his guilt.
The perfect proof? Don't make me laugh. A worthless person like you has no right to claim such a thing as perfection.
Papa? Who do you think is the real culprit behind these murders? Miles and I, we're competing to see who can find the real killer first. Plus, being able to investigate a real crime scene is a really rare opportunity. It would give us some real-life experience, wouldn't you agree?
If you want to investigate this case that much, then do as you wish.
Then you're allowing us to continue.
In court, your top priority is to win, and a solid investigation is one of the keys to winning. We have to make sure you become recognized as the first-rate prosecutor, don't we? It wouldn't be very interesting otherwise. I'm returning home now. Edward Franziska, see to it that I am not disturbed save for the result of your competition.
Yes, sir. Of course, Papa. Franziska. Thank you. What are you thanking me for? Your logic earlier was built on that scruffy detective's lie. That means that the competition is still on. Yes, just as you wished. I couldn't let you get off so easily. Now then, let's see how well you fare on the investigation from here, Miles Edgeworth. I know I don't have enough information yet, so my first order of business will be to question anyone involved with this case. Miss Yu. Oh, it's you, Edgeworth. And who are you? Wait, you were at the crime scene just now, weren't you? You should be disbarred for not knowing who I am. I am Franziska von Karma, and I am about to become the successor to the family name. About to? I guess that means that for now you're still just another kid. In which case, it's only natural that I didn't know who you are. What? Why are you whipping me? Anyway, it looks like they're planning to hold the evidence a bit longer. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's waiting. I'm terribly sorry, but I have a few more questions to ask you. Look at you. Eyebrows scratched with lines in your forehead. And that to ask of you. What exactly is so funny? Sorry, I'm just bad at dealing with a super serious atmosphere. Apparently they feel your behavior at a crime scene in law school. I feel much better now. So what is it you wanted to talk about? I'd like to inquire as to where you were at the time of the murder. You were in defendant lobby number 1 the whole time, up until we heard the gunshot. And by we, I mean Mr. Bad. If you don't believe me, feel free to ask him yourself. You were with Detective Bad. Why? We had a little something to discuss, that's all. So, I take it that you were acquaintances with Detective Bad. Yeah, he was the detective in charge of the KZ8 incident. Detective Bad is also related to that incident? That's right. He was the one who was supposed to protect my sister, Cece. But you know how that turned out, don't you, Edgeworth? Miles Edgeworth, I have no idea what you two are talking about. I've heard of the KG8 incident from my papa, but how does that case relate to you, Miss Yu? The victim of that case, Cece, was my little sister. You're making the super serious face again. I'm fine, really. I just make it a point some more salt in his wounded pride every time I see him. We should talk about doing that as she laughs away. It's kind of creepy. Oh, speaking of Mr. Badham, he and Mr. Faraday, I'd say they met up just about every single time the Yatagarasu made a move. It's practically a given that the two would meet up at every one of the crime scenes. I see. You did mention that he was in charge of the Yatagarasu investigation earlier. Maybe we should ask her what she knows about the Yatagarasu in more detail. You claim that at the time of the murder, you were with Detective Bad. But don't you lawyers usually discuss the trial with your clients during a recess? We do, and that's what I was planning to do. But Mr. Faraday was being rather threatening, and he dragged Mr. Rell away. After that, Mr. Bad came into lobby number 1, so we just stayed there and talked. And what did you talk with Detective Bad about? Nothing interesting. I just insulted him some. Talked about how the trial was going, and I insulted him some more. Bloody! When she's not laughing, her mouth seemingly spews nothing but insults. Anyway, Mr. Bad and I were in defendant lobby number 1 when the murders occurred, so I really can't tell you anything about the hallway or lobby number 2. I see. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your client, Mr. Macrell. Now, your client first claimed to be the Yatagarasu, is that correct? Yeah, once I heard that it was the Yatagarasu that had made off with the evidence from KG8, I began to ask Mr. Rell all sorts of questions, but to no avail. Turns out Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. He had just made that up. He made it up. Mr. Rell's crime was caught on tape with the security cameras, but there is no footage of him sneaking into the Kodopian embassy itself. Hold on for just 1 second. Then you mean to say that you knew that he was not the real Yatagarasu, and that he was just another cold-blooded killer, and you were ready to defend him? Yes, that's right. I see. So a defense lawyer is actually just someone whose job is to cover for criminals. That's why defense lawyers are so detestable. But they are no match for us von Karmas. I don't believe you're serious. Why don't you save that face for something really worth being serious about? And Edgeworth, do you remember what I said earlier? I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright? And for that you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer? Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Well was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. I'm sorry. Forgive my rashness. Ms. Yu, I was wondering if you could tell me about the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu, huh? I don't really know much about that character myself, but I do get a lot of consultation requests from companies to defend them. Requests from companies? The Yatagarasu isn't some petty thief out for money, you know. Huh. Alright then, perhaps the Yatagarasu is in the business of stealing people's lives. You're not very funny or witty, are you, little Miss Von Karma? Franziska, be careful about who you whip. Choose carefully when we... There, I chose carefully, just like you wanted. That just now was hilarious, little Missy. Of course it was. What is wrong with these two women? Why does my pain give them delight? And so in the end, what is the Yatagarasu? I have to say I had never even heard of this thief when I was in Germany. The Yatagarasu deals in information. namely digging out dirt about backroom dealings and the like of companies. The Edgar asks was a vigilante who steals such info and then makes it public for all to see. Vigilante or not, this person sounds like just another criminal to me. I suppose you could put it that way too. But either way, I get a lot more clients now, thanks to that thief. Sounds like Ms. Yu's profiting nicely. Suppose I've gotten all I can out of Ms. Yu. I should move on and speak with Detective Gumshoe now. Detective Gumshoe. Hey, it's you, pal. You're here. As am I. I don't think you needed to whip him to let him know that. I didn't do it, pal. I swear on my honor as a detective. I really didn't. Your words are useless. I place my trust only in the evidence, detective. Once the investigation is fully over, and should we find out that you are the killer, there will be no mercy to be had for you. Have a heart, pal. But you're not worried, right? After all, you have nothing to worry about if you really are innocent, that is. That's right. Hey, pal, go and do your perfect investigation to get the real killer for me, will you? I would have done so even had you not requested me to, detective. So you and Mr. Faraday had a small meeting last week, did you? And what exactly did you do to make him so angry? I just asked Detective Bad the same thing myself, pal. Turns out he was mad at me because on my very first day as a detective, I reported in at my usual post instead of the Criminal Affairs Department. By the time I got down to Criminal Affairs, I was really, really late. And that's when he gave me that huge speech. I remember doing the same exact thing in elementary school. On the first day of school every year, I'd always wind up going to my old classroom. How pathetic for the detective to be comparable to a mere schoolchild. You claimed to be standing guard in front of the door to lobby number 2 during the recess. However, when did you receive the order to do so and from whom? Earlier, around 3:20 and from Detective Bad, pal. Today's trial took a really crazy turn, so I was told to make sure nothing happened to Mr. Faraday. And yet, something did happen to him, correct? It looks like it was a total waste of manpower to assign you to guard duty. Oh, your words sting worse than your whip, pal. So it was Detective Bad who ordered him to stand guard, huh? Now then, Detective Gumshoe. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me? Nope, not a thing, pal. In that case, allow us to take a look at what you are carrying on your personage. Wait, you can't do that! There's nothing of any particular value here. Well, my handcuffs and badge were confiscated by Detective Bad, so, you know. And what is that open envelope I see sticking out of your coat pocket? Hands off, pal! Just show it to us already! Whoa! Annual bonus check within $5 total. Except there's no check inside. You've had your look, now give it back, pal! It's my first bonus as a brand new detective! I just got it and cashed it today. I had literally no cash on me up until I did, you know? So that envelope was really special to me. Now give it back! You don't need rubbish like this. Don't worry, we'll throw it away for you later. How could you? I'm sorry, but I need to take him in for questioning now. I think I've asked him just about everything I needed to. No, wait, since he became a suspect, there is one piece of evidence I should reconfirm. Officer, I ask that you wait a second. I still have one thing I'd like to reconfirm with Detective Gumshoe. Understood, but please make it brief, sir. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I must confirm whether or not his testimony about when the crime occurred is the truth. You told me earlier that you heard no sound other than the gunshot out in the hallway. Is that correct? No mistake about it, pal. Then you were also claiming that no one passed through the hallway either. Is that also correct? Yep, not even a single ant passed through that hall while I was on duty. You do realize that the lie you're telling is only making life more difficult for yourself. Huh? Oh, but it's true. I didn't see anyone go through the hallway, and I didn't hear anything else, pal. I bet the killer found the way to kill the two guys that's beyond what I can even imagine. So he intends to continue telling this ridiculous lie. But why would he do so, given the situation he's in? I believe a thorough investigation, with the hallway in front of the defendant lobbies, is in order. You... Ugh! How could you have not noticed that coming?
Yeah. Wasn't that the child I changed money for earlier?
Thanks! That's exactly what I needed!
Kids can sometimes be so cruel.
It looks like she dropped something. Maybe we should arrest the girl. She might turn out to be a valuable lead.
Ugh. I believe some sort of punishment may need to be dealt the next time we meet. I believe I've asked all that I need to of this man. Now for Detective Bad and the judge.
We have to confirm it was correct. The judge or that scruff face, right? I suppose we should inspect the hallway in front of lobby number 2 next then.
I suppose so. Shall we head on over, Franziska? So, did you see anything else? No, I don't think so. I see. Well, thanks for your cooperation. Oh, it's nothing. Just doing my duty as a defender of the law. That'll be all for now. I'll ask again if I have any other questions. Anytime, Detective. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few loose ends I have to tie up. Oh, there's that new prosecutor Mr. Von Karma recommended, right?
My name is Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor. And I am Manfred Von Karma's daughter, Franziska Von Karma. I'm set to become the successor to my genius father any day now, Your Honor.
I see, Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Von Karma, Miles Edgeworth, and Miss Ah! I've dropped my tongue.
Are you alright, Your Honor? Please feel free to refer to me as just Ms. Von Karma, Your Honor. As for him, just Edgeworth is fine.
Apparently somebody doesn't feel that I'm worthy of a proper title. Oh, very well then. I shall call you Miss Von Karma and Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Your Honor, Mr. Edgeworth is fine, sir. Now, about your earlier testimony.
Yes, what about it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I would like to ask you a few questions about what exactly you saw.
Alright. After all, it's my duty to clarify my testimony as a defender of the law.
I greatly appreciate your cooperation, Your Honor. Now, the first thing I will need to do is figure out that detective's exact movements. Your Honor, I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind. Where were you at the time of the murder?
Do you suspect me of something?
No, nothing of the sort, Your Honor.
Very well, you may continue with your testimony.
Your Honor, it's your testimony I'm after.
Oh! I had no idea you were chasing after me or my testimony. I'm beginning to sense that I might want to avoid being in a trial run by this judge. Let's see here. Now then, how should I put this? When you get to be my age, you need to pay more frequent visits to the restroom. If you go take a look through the window at the end of this hall, you'll see a small window. That is the window to the men's restroom. In other words, you can see clearly into this hallway from the men's restroom. When I was going into the restroom, that detective, Gumshoe, is it? Well, he was standing in front of the vending machines buying something from it. However, and this I couldn't believe, when I was about to exit the restroom, there was not a soul in the hallway anymore.
Your Honor, if you could please calm down and explain it to me rationally.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Please let me regain my composure. It was really suspicious. That's what my finely honed judge's intuition said. Although, well, until the murders occurred, I just sort of brushed it off.
Apparently, this judge doesn't understand the concept of staying calm. That's probably all I'm going to find out from His Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth, may I return to my other duties now?
Yes, I'm sorry to have held you up. Thank you for your cooperation, Your Honor.
Anytime, Mr. Edgeworth. Anytime.
The judges in this country seem rather friendly. Yes, if not a little wishy-washy. However, I hear that they are known to hand down very fair verdicts. Detective Bat, I have something I wish to inquire about. Hey, how about doing some actual work, you? I wish to inquire into Detective Gumshoe's movements during the recess.
You're getting in the way of the investigation.
I have an order from Mr. Von Karma himself. Plus, I still hold investigative authority. So I hear you were the one who called for Detective Gumshoe to come down here.
Faraday, that guy was just accused, you know. I just knew something was gonna happen. My detective's instinct told me.
A lot of good it did you. You couldn't even protect one lone prosecutor with it.
Hold it!
Franziska, I think you need to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, Detective Bad. Please continue.
I used the phone on the first floor and called the precinct. I told them to send somebody over. And that detective's the one that showed up.
And only upon his arrival did you set Detective Gumshoe to stand guard, Detective Bad.
Yeah. I waited for him on the first floor. After he got here, we came up to these defendant lobbies together. As we entered this hallway, we ran into you. She told us Faraday was really mad, and that he dragged Rel off to lobby number 2 to have a word or something. And that Faraday had said to not let anyone interrupt them. So what choice did I have? All I could do was tell the big lug to stand guard outside.
And around what time did all of that take place?
Let's see. I think it was about 30 minutes before I heard the gunshot. After giving the big lug his assignment, he never left the hallway, not once.
Oh, and how can you make such a claim?
One of the guards out in this floor's main lobby swore to me he didn't.
If the detective never left the hallway, then where did he disappear off to? That's simple. He must have gone into lobby number 2 just as I suspected.
You and I. We were in lobby number 1 next door. The only one without an alibi is Gumshoe.
It would seem that I am still missing some key pieces of information. Detective Bad, you also heard the gunshot, did you not?
Yeah. Heard it when I was defending lobby number 1. That's why I came running towards lobby number 2 together with you.
How much time elapsed between you hearing the gunshot and your arrival on the scene?
Less than a minute.
What were your movements upon hearing the gunshot?
I grabbed the big lug, who was just walking around in the hall, raced into lobby number 2, and that's when we discovered the bodies. In that order.
That makes you the discoverer of the crime scene, right?
Yeah, I guess it does, little miss.
I am about to become a prosecutor very soon. You will treat me with the dignity I deserve or else.
Huh. You wave that thing around anymore, and I'll have you arrested for obstruction, little miss.
You wouldn't dare.
Just joking.
Yeah. Detective Bad is really something if he can make Franziska behave.
Are we about done?
Is there anything else I should ask him about? I'd like for you to tell me the exact time you heard the gunshot.
It was around the end of the recess, and the trial was about to start again. I think. He was supposed to make time for himself to transfer the evidence he was holding. But I got the sense he wasn't going to show for the handoff. So I figured I should go get him, or he'd be late. And just as I thought that, bang. The sound of a gunshot hit my eardrums.
So he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to restart, huh?
Are we done here? I don't have any time to waste.
Oh, come on! All you're doing is standing in front of this door doing nothing.
Huh.
I get the sense that he is someone investigating this crime scene, or rather that he is keeping us under surveillance. But to what end? Detective Bad, may I ask that you cooperate with us for just a bit longer?
I don't have anything else to say to the two of you. You guys were the ones who said you wanted to investigate in the first place.
Fine then, be obstinate. We'll just do as you please. Come on, Miles. You may no longer be willing to help us, however. May I ask for the forensic scientist's cooperation?
Do as you like.
Blah blah, cranny cranny cranny. Ugh. What's the matter? I pricked myself on one of this cactus's needles. I didn't think the needles on this thing would be so sharp. Well, what did you expect? Can you imagine how bad it would be if you were hit on the head by one of these? Anyway, this cactus seems to be unrelated to our case. Do you really think so? Because I believe that this cactus sitting on this windowsill is completely related. Oh, well then I look forward to your explanation on how exactly it is related. What is this? It's a pink-colored piece of trash made of rubber. I feel like I've seen something like this before. Well, all I see is a piece of garbage. But you know, the fact that there is a litter running loose inside this courthouse, it's simply unforgivable.
Ah! It's not like it was I who littered.
Rubbish belongs in a rubbish bin.
Duh!
The dirt on this bench, it's supposed to be some sort of sweet substance. I can't believe there is someone going around dirtying the courthouse. For shame. Calm down, Francisco. Now, take a good look. Doesn't this smudge look kind of like a handprint to you? I suppose it could be. Which means that perhaps we can lift the prints of the person who sullied this bench. I see, and then we'll know the identity of our mystery slob. You there, the lab technician. Could you please find out who this handprint belongs to? Sir, yes sir. I've got the results of the fingerprint analysis, sir. And, do you know who they belong to? Sir, the fingerprints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Oh, interesting. Good work, officer. And there you have it. Yes, I suppose so. Now we know the identity of the person who dirtied the bench. I sense that you and I will be using this information in very different ways. What are these black speckles? I believe it's a pile of ants eating away. Oh, that detective! He claims that not a single ant slipped by him, and here's a whole hill of them! God! What are you hitting me for? As a replacement for that pathetic detective? Perhaps I should add this deduction to the detective's growing tab of acuts. Anyway, I wonder what the ants are eating. The look and sweet smell of it, pieces of cake and chocolate from a Swiss roll. Miles Edgeworth, the courthouse is to be kept pristine at all times.
No! It wasn't me that dropped food on the ground.
The courthouse must be kept clean. This pink rubbery substance. I saw this in a different form earlier today. I believe this is a piece of a popped balloon. I suppose that's possible. The balloon probably got a little too close to our friend, the windowsill cactus. That would be the logical conclusion, yes? It would appear that this vending machine sells snacks at various other foods. Just lovely. What will they think of next? Don't be a jerk in court like these beef jerks. 1 packet for $9. Defendant's fresh milk. 1/2 pint for $7. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. For $6. They're awfully overpriced. The lineup is simply awful. Period. Speaking of snacks, I wonder if that Swiss roll the little girl dropped is from this machine. I was wondering about that myself. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. The end of what? Well, I assume it means the end of the trial. I suppose this means that one should eat these during a recess? You can't eat during a trial, so I suppose the only time you can eat them is now, huh? I wouldn't mind if you wanted to eat one now. They come in packs of 2 after all. We're in the middle of an investigation. Besides, I don't have $6 on me. If you want, we can pool our money and buy a pack together. If I have to split it with you, then I don't want it. These bits of chocolate and cake, could they not have come from a Swiss roll? A Swiss roll? Why would a courthouse sell a thing like that? It may not seem like the right venue, however it is being sold right over there. The vending machine. Ah, I see. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. 2 for $6, talk about expensive. Leaving the fact that it's on the expensive side aside, the fact that the cake crumbs and chocolate bits were found in this hallway suggests that they came from a Swiss roll that was purchased from this machine. I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened here now. Naturally, after all, I'm here, aren't I? Detective Gumshoe must have sat on this bench as he ate a Swiss roll. And as he ate, he dropped it on the floor and sullied the bench. How could he not have cleaned up after himself? How utterly despicable. Don't you dare whip me again. It wasn't I who made the mess in the first place. Anyway, if it was indeed Detective Gumshoe who brought the Swiss roll, that creates a rather interesting contradiction of facts. A contradiction? Where? I think another look at the special courthouse vending machine is in order. And about to check with Gumshoe's finances. He said until this morning he didn't have even a single penny on his personage. Just how poor is that guy? If his bonus really was only $5, then he should not have been able to purchase a pack of Swiss rolls. However, facts being as they are, we found cake crumbs on the floor. Meaning Scruffy must have bought a pack somehow. Indeed. That detective should not have been able to purchase a pack, and yet he did. The question is how? I believe I know a very firm grasp on what happened here. Well, I do too. Alright, Franziska, would you care to share what conclusions you've come to? Why should I do that? We're still in the middle of a competition, you know. We should be checking to see if your conclusions are wrong first. You go ahead. It's almost cute that she's going this far to ensure that she wins. Almost. Very well, but first we need to pay His Honor a visit to correct his testimony. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to take your witness testimony to see how it stands up.
Do you doubt me? Am I your new suspect?
In a sense, I suppose you could say that. Even you, a judge, are nothing but a common witness before Von Karma.
Silence in the courtroom. Silence, I say. Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Manfred Von Karma Miles Edgeworth and Miss Ginger's prosecutor's section.
Bit your tongue again, didn't you?
As a defender of the law, I could never give false testimony. You can even place me under oath if you want.
Very well, then. Your testimony, if you please.
During the recess, I, went to the restroom. There is a window in the hallway side. In other words, I could see into the hallway. As I entered, I saw the detective buying something from the vending machines. But when I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. A detective that goes missing while on duty? That sounds mighty suspicious to me!
Your Honor, can you please try to remain calm?
Oh. I'm so used to simply listening to testimonies that I get caught up in the excitement.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spoil your fun now.
What was that finger right for, Mr. Edgeworth? And don't you know it's rude to shout objection while someone is giving testimony?
Huh. If you truly are a man of the law, then you must always be vigilant. For example, I never let an opportunity to shout objection pass me by. Miles Edgeworth, it's one thing to be passionate about your job, but this is real life. This is what some people may say is the pot calling the kettle black. Your Honor, I wonder if you might take a look at this for me.
What is that filth? How dare someone dirty the hallway bench like that? Who is the culprit? That party should be found guilty of uncleanliness.
If you must know, the uncouth bench cellier has already been placed under arrest, thanks to your earlier testimony, Your Honor.
Oh, well that's good, but who was it?
We were able to discover something from the smudge on the bench, namely Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints.
I'm not happy with committing murder, I had to go and dirty the courthouse too. Guilty!
Your Honor, please calm down. While it's true that the detective is one who made the mess on the bench, we have not yet established that this action is related to the double murder.
What do you mean?
I believe that the detective bought a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine, and then promptly sat down on the bench to eat one. The cake crumbs and pieces of chocolate on the floor under the bench, and Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints prove my conclusions to be true.
Oh, but I still don't understand. Is this whole thing related to how I couldn't see him as I was leaving the restroom?
It is indeed. The window in the hallway was built rather high up into the wall, at around a grown adult's chest height. As evidence, I submit that Franziska herself was unable to see out of that window. No! I know I shouldn't have used her height as evidence. Basically, what this means is that the area directly under the hallway window is a blind spot where the hallway is being viewed from the men's restroom. So then... It seems that you have made the connection. If someone were to sit on the bench under the window... Yes, even someone as large as Detective Gumshoe would effectively disappear from sight.
What?
Do you finally see, Your Honor? Your testimony has just proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time.
Ah, sorry. I didn't mean to say it with that much enthusiasm. All I wanted to do was try saying it once. Here, let me try that again. Hold it!
Is there something of value that you'd like to say?
Yes, actually there is. I remembered something else just now. Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to testify to the court one more time.
Even if we overruled him, he'd just keep on talking, wouldn't he? That might not be a bad thing. The more info, the better in a perfect investigation, right?
I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail. As I was leaving the restroom, I heard a loud bang of a gunshot. How is that? That is testimony of one who judges the crimes of others.
Your Honor, could you try to state the important facts first next time? I agree. Before you go around judging others, you must learn to judge your own words.
I'm sorry. But honestly, I thought that sounds just newspaper just now.
Now that you mention it, right before we restarted the trial, he did talk about that.
Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson...
The most critical point of his argument is when did the judge look into the hallway, and whether that lines up with when the gun was actually fired. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to clarify a few details in your testimony.
I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked.
Hold it!
As we established, you went to the restroom during the recess. However, at what point in the recess did you look into that hallway?
After I called for a recess, I handled the change of prosecutor paperwork. Maybe about 20 minutes until you reconvened. Yes, that sounds about right.
Just as I expected.
What were you expecting? I demand to know what that ominous smile is for.
Your Honor, that statement you made just now is very important. I'd like for you to append it to your testimony.
All right, if you insist. Let's see. I looked into that hallway about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene.
Objection!
Your Honor...
I cannot allow you to make an objection.
What? Your Honor, I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to not allow me to make an objection.
For Gads, I've been overruled.
Your Honor, there's simply too many holes in your testimony for my taste.
What do you mean by that?
You claim that you heard the gunshot during the recess, but that is simply not possible.
Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Manfred von
Instead of biting your tongue, what are you biting your tongue on this professor's words?
Yee!
I see you have no mercy for the elderly either, Franziska. Don't talk back to me unless you want to be whipped in the back. With your height, you'd need a stepladder or four to accomplish that.
Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, my ears are not that far gone yet, I'll have you know. I can still hear just fine, and I heard the sound of a gunshot loud and clear with my own two ears.
Your Honor, I have here an interesting bit of testimony. It's from Detective Bad, and according to him, he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to start again.
What did you just say?
Your Honor, you just said that you heard the gunshot about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene. How do you explain this glaring contradiction?
That can't be!
Unfortunately, that is the truth.
But I heard it clear as day. Bang! The loud sound of a gunshot.
The sound of the gunshot. We keep returning to this point of contention. And that piece of evidence. I always did wonder why I found it where I did. However, now I understand what that gunshot the judge heard really was. Unfortunately, Your Honor, this is what really produced the gunshot you heard.
Take that!
I found this object in the hallway earlier. Well, what is that pink substance? It may not look like it, but this is actually a piece of a balloon. I see. And I suppose you would like me to accept that pink balloon into the court record. Your Honor, I presented this piece of evidence in order to overrule your testimony. Well, what? Your Honor, your argument goes as follows. You saw no one in the hallway when you heard the gunshot. Now, there is no guarantee that the detective was sitting on the bench at that time. Therefore, you believe he must have been at the crime scene, defendant lobby number 2. Am I correct? Yes, that's exactly right. Let me ask you something. Do you think that the gunshot you heard was produced by a real gun? I think I've said enough that even you can figure the rest out on your own. Your Honor, you were fooled by the popping of this balloon into thinking it was a gunshot. Well, what manner of trickery is this? That was a good effort you put forth, Miles Edgeworth. But if it was me, I'd have wrapped this thing up before the judge even testified. Care to elaborate on how one ends something before it even begins? Well, to be honest, I did think that the sound was a bit off from real gunshot sound. But who could have guessed that someone would pop a balloon in a place like this? That's true. One doesn't usually think balloons in conjunction with courthouse. I want to trade these coins with you. That's it. That balloon that girl was holding, it explains everything. Your Honor, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lie once in your testimony. However, I can't really vouch for its accuracy. Oh no. Giving testimony could be such a difficult thing to do. What have I done? I owe Detective Gumshoe a very, very big apology. I will see to it myself that he is released. Wait. There are still a few things I have yet to resolve about what happened in the hallway. Your Honor, I request your permission to further question Detective Gumshoe. But why? I thought we just cleared his name. Whether we did just now or not, I still cannot say. The only thing I can do for now is to continue in my quest for the perfect explanation. And to that end, I must resolve the remaining issues pertaining to the events that occurred in the hallway. Very well. Bailiff, please bring Detective Gumshoe into the courtroom. I must fulfill my mission and find the perfect explanation of this case. What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I've already told you a gazillion times, pal. I didn't do it. I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe. No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that. No. I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of that. Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental? Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe. I'm afraid I must apologize for an error in judgment on my part. Your Honor, I don't believe you should apologize just yet. We have yet to prove he is completely innocent of this crime. I guess so. What are you guys talking about? In any case, I would like you to testify as to your actions while you were on guard duty. And please remember, you are not on trial. This is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found to be innocent. However, if you should give false testimony... Yo! My whip will object loud and clear. If you are found to be lying, you will be held indefinitely. Understood? I got you, pal. Thinking back on the state of the crime scene and the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying. And if I can't break his lie, then we may never get a break in this case. I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in the hallway the whole time. On my honor as a detective, I swear it wasn't me, pal. He's still singing the same tired tune. In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying, it's time I pull the information I need out of him. I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it!
You claim to have been in that hallway the whole time. However, is it not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway? Of course I did something. I guarded the door to lobby number 2, pal. What else? Very well then. And what exactly does guarding that door entail? Well, to put it simply... Oh, I know. I was my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch. Oh, Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2? Is that really what you wish to testify to the effect of? You got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door, just like I was ordered not to. Oh, why is everyone so quiet all of a sudden? Because we are all in shock and in awe of your utter stupidity. Scruffy, if you're going to lie, at least tell us a more believable one. Yeah. But I'm not lying. I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close. And until I heard the gunshot, I didn't take a single step away from the lobby number 2 door.
Objection!
I have an objection. What is it, pal? Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognize this from somewhere. Hey, it's one of those things. The courthouse special Swiss rolls, right, pal? Precisely. In that case, I suppose that you also recall the sullied hallway bench. Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that. Detective Gumshoe, you know you can't go around dirtying up the courthouse like this. You inconsiderate, slovenly pig. Yeah. I promise to clean it up later, I swear. Now then, shall we get down to business? About the fact that you didn't move even a single step from in front of that door. If that really were the case, then how are you able to lay a pack of Swiss rolls? Yeah! Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get that much dirty with your grubby hands? Yeah! It appears that Francisco's lip can do more damage than my words alone can. Alright, I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? I thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me eating on the job, so I didn't want to say anything. Well, unfortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. I clearly saw you buying a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine. Okay, I'm sorry for lying, but that's all I'm sorry for, you got that? Because I'm not holding anything else back. That last statement. It may sound like it makes sense, however, there is something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us? Huh? Of course not. I've got nothing else to hide, pal. Oh, if only that were true, Detective Gumshoe. But it is true, pal, I swear, there's nothing else. Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you are aware of the price of a pack of Swiss rolls, correct? Huh? Remind me again, pal. That vending machine out in the hallway is selling packs of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack. And yet, according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed your $5 annual bonus check. Isn't that right? Oh. Let me ask then, how did you manage to purchase the pack all by yourself? Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that? I told you I bought it by myself, pal. There wasn't anyone else in that hallway with me. So there's no one who could have helped me buy it. Wait, don't tell me. You've got some kind of proof that there was someone else in the hallway, don't you? Correct. As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that? Wait. You do. Of course I do. What? How? What proof do I have that there must have been someone else there in the hallway?
Take that!
Hey, you showed that to me not 2 seconds ago, pal. I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of rolls. Wait, if you didn't buy it, then that means you must have stolen it. You thief! Well, I would never do such a thing. All you liars are the same. You start out as thieves, you're under arrest, pal. I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. And in that case, what does that say about you, Detective? Duh. This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone. Oh, there were 2 rolls in this package. You ate one of them, but you then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you? No way, pal. You've got it all wrong. I ate both of them. It would appear that we've caught you at last. Hey, don't you dare do anything bad to that girl. It would appear that they do know each other, after all. So why do you continue to come up to me and kick me? Have I wronged you somehow? I have a name and it's Kay. Kay what? Kay Faraday. Faraday, are you perhaps Mr. Faraday's daughter? I'm not a you, I'm a Kay. Kay, you know, good little girls don't kick older people. Especially not hard enough to leave big nasty bruises like the way you do. Well then you shouldn't put me under arrest, mister. Gummy? My guess is that she's talking about Detective Gumshoe. What a cute nickname you've given him. Gummy didn't do anything wrong. Kay, it appears that I will need to speak with her in a bit more detail. Ah! Now then, Kay. She's like a stray cat. I wonder if I should feed her something.
Okay, I promise to give this to you if you calm down. Oh, a Swiss roll! It really belongs to you, though, doesn't it? Yeah, I was saving it for Daddy. Oh my. Your father, he's... Ah, don't you say another word, pal. She doesn't know yet. Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already know about Daddy. I overheard the guards talking about how he's not here anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't protect him. Okay. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna... cry! It's all right. Let it all out. Your father just passed away after all. I myself was also involved in a case at this courthouse when I was a young child. A case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. All of my dreams of being a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep in the depths of my soul. Ever since that incident, I've dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen right in front of me. This child, I feel a certain shared fate, a common bond between us. Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch the lady cry? You're right. Sorry about that. Okay, here, how about we use this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes? No! My cravat! Don't pull your nose on that! I feel better now, thanks! Okay, are you going to be alright? Yep, I'm already alright. Somehow I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it. I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers. And you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right? That's right! Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still going to keep all my promises. You're a very brave girl, Kay. You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I'll even testify that you didn't cry, just for you. Thank you very much, lady. Huh, it's nothing. I'm only telling the truth after all. It would appear that because her father was a respected prosecutor, Francisco is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. Kay, what kind of person was your father? Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people of the world. So do you, a prosecutor, is a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are in a sense, as we are the ones who seek guilty verdicts for criminals. Plus, you know what? Whenever I came to the courthouse, Daddy would buy me my absolute favorite treat, Swiss rolls. Oh, I want to be a hero of justice someday just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard. I see, and what have you been working hard on? I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together. A promise notebook. May I take a look inside, Kay? Sure, okay. It appears to be an exchange diary of sorts between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. Thank you for showing it to me, Kay. I hope you'll continue to work hard and become a hero just like your father. I'm gonna try. Hey, Kay, so I'm a detective that catches the bad people, right? That makes me a hero, too. Yeah, you're really cool too, Gummy. Yeah, aren't I, Kay? What is with the two of them? I hand down verdicts of justice, that makes me a hero too. Yes, and thanks to your oh-so-heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail.
I'm really sorry about that.
Gummy is not a bad man, okay? That poor judge. He's being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay. Yeah, we're friends. In that case, would you mind telling me a little more about him? So I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier. Yep. He was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Detective Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi. And when was this? Huh? Oh, before everything got crazy. How long were the two of you together? We only talked for a little while, and then we went on our own ways.
That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked for a little while, and that's it.
Oh, which means we have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, isn't that right?
You got me.
I told you to stop picking on Gummy, mister. Huh, very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. Were you the one who brought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay? Well, I didn't really have a lot of money, and I somehow made $1 out of all the pennies and quarters I had. But that still wasn't enough, and I really wanted one. Come to think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1. And that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct? Yeah, thanks a bunch for doing that, mister. Sure, but let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct? Well, that's why... Hey, if you bully Kay anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal. You know, I remind you that you're the one already under arrest? Yeah! I sense that Kay is going to be less than forthcoming with this question. Sorry, about your roughly thing. Yes, well, now that it's positively drenched in your nasal mucus, don't worry, Kay, I have a spare. So here, you can have this one. But Daddy said never take things from a stranger. Ah, it's one of the promises you made in your promise notebook, correct? Yeah, look, see, it's right here on this page. Alright then, I'm not giving this to you, I'm merely allowing you to borrow it. You can take it home, wash it nice and clean, and then give it back to me next time we meet. Okay, Daddy never said I couldn't borrow things from strangers. Now then, Detective Gumshoe. Uh-oh. I believe it is now crystal clear that you were with little Kay in that hallway. Oh. Yeah, I told you to stop being mean to Gummy. Miles Edgeworth, there is still something you have yet to resolve. I beg your pardon. You still haven't offered an explanation for why that man would lie to us. That's, well... Gummy, don't tell me you lied for my sake. Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay. Ah, so that's why. So what was Detective Gumshoe's motive for lying? If you can't explain that, then you can't call this a perfect investigation. His reason for lying is very simple. Well, what? Here's what I believe to be his reason. From simple observation of the detective's actions and his interactions with Kay, it's obvious that the detective was lying for the young girl's sake. And this piece of evidence will show you exactly why. Which piece of evidence proves that Detective Gumshoe was lying on account of Kay?
Take that!
Mr. Faraday and Kay's promise notebook? How does this explain anything? If you could take a look at this page, it's clearly written that Kay should never take things from a stranger. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay. What a fool. Oh! Gummy, you lied because of me, didn't you? Because I'm your friend, Kay, that's why. Gummy. At long last, Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now? Guess there's no beating you, huh, pal? Okay, I'll spill the goods. I've been standing guard for a while. I was getting really hungry, and that snack vending machine was taunting me. But all the cash you had on you was $5, and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item in that machine is a $6 pack of Swiss rolls. Yeah, but then like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up. I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy, so I wanted to buy a Swiss roll. But I only had about $1 in coins. So we pooled my 5 and her 1 together, and bought a pack of Swiss rolls together. But I was worried about breaking one of my promises. So then Gummy said, Mr. Faraday's one scary guy when he gets mad. But don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I don't tell, right? Besides, you bought it with me, so you didn't really get it from me, you know? He told me it'd be okay, and he gave me a whole roll to save and give to Daddy. Who knew that Scrappy could be so considerate? Indeed. Detective, I take it that you then sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together. Yeah, we split the other roll and ate it right then. The sweet taste of that cake's chocolate. I'll never forget it as long as I live, pal. Anyway, okay, I believe this also belongs to you. Oh, that's from the balloon I popped. It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this one piece away. It was sitting high up on a windowsill where you couldn't see it. So just this once, I forgive you. But that balloon, I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. And because of me, Gummy dropped his half of the Swiss roll. Wow, you really got me there, pal. So I thought maybe I should give Gummy this other roll. And then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister. So you kicked me, is that it? You sure are a feisty one. I'm really sorry, mister. It's alright. I'm perfectly unharmed. But about the Swiss roll, would it be alright with you if I held on to it until Detective Gumshoe was cleared of all charges and free to go? Yeah, sure. Just make sure you give it to Gummy afterwards, okay? Of course. I promise. Now then, I believe you have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty, which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe could not have committed the double murders.
Objection!
Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe is the only one who could have committed the crime. Well, what do you mean? It's quite rude to eavesdrop, Miss Yu. I'm getting lectured on manners by a girl with a penchant for whipping people. What? How dare you talk about with such insolence? You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not the bad guy. Oh, and what have we here? What is this child doing here in the courthouse? Bailiff, please take this child away. Miss Callisto, you. That girl is Mr. Faraday's. I know, so what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, she gets to just run wild all around the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her, to speak nothing of getting underfoot. I suppose you're right, however. As long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Now then, Detective, you were in front of the door to lobby number 2 the entire time, correct? Yeah, but... You see? Isn't it obvious that it could only be the detective? He's the only person who could have gone in lobby number 2 at the time of the murders. Ugh. I have no counter-argument to that. Don't worry, I've already put in the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest. Ugh. The investigation is far from over. Oh, that's right. I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to the suspect out in the open without a guard? I suppose it is. Well, as someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on a criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence. Ooh, Miles, I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like that. This is unforgivable as a disciple of Von Karma. Down, Tigress. Now then, I'll be looking forward to the results of your investigation. So, we're back to square one. Actually, this is our last chance. I can tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all of the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we have yet to inspect. It's where Detective Badham as you were at the time of the crime. Lobby number 1. Do I feel like doing any more? I don't know. Not really. I don't think anyone's around, so I'm just gonna stop for today.